to jump into Swiss round number 2 of the North America International Championships, where Teotime Masal is going to face off against 2025 world champion Giovanni Siski. Teotime has a lot of experience with this team, just came off the back of a top 64 at Turin with this exact 6, but has since switched over to this Mega Dragonite and the Mega Frostlass with the other strong partner Pokemon around it.
Damage with Blizzard.
Let's get into game 1 and see what Pokemon both of our trainers have selected. On the leads, it's going to be the Frostlass as the Mega Evolution of choice for Geo, alongside that Sneasler, and it's going to be the Mega Floette for Teo Team.
Plus Moonblast being quite a bit of damage back if you just expose Frostlass too much here.
Well, it's going to be an immediate switch out of the Sneasler. You don't want to play into a potential speed tie knowing that Jolly does exist.
And you don't want to take too much from a Blizzard here, and Incineroar a great switch in if you think the offense is going to come quick from Geo's side.
You still have an option, though, for the Aurora Veil, something that the Frostlass could do that doesn't necessarily unleash an attack right now, but could set you up for the long game. But the Mega Evolutions are going to match. Geo with the Frostlass and Teo Team with this Mega Floette, both ready to go out on the offense. But what does the Sneasler do? Going to be one of the faster Pokemon on the field. Floette, though, with that increased priority on the Protect, will make sure that it protects itself first before it sees the rest of this turn. Sneasler was trying to go for the Fake Out to stop this Floette in his tracks, but Frostlass does unleash that Blizzard. Incineroar going to take that a little bit nicer.
Yeah, if you're not willing to opt into the speed tie, which a fake out speed tie is so risky, if you're going after a fake out into the other fake out, well, they're just going into your partner Pokemon. If you lose it, then you accomplish nothing on the turn. Out that's going to be really helpful if you can try to stop the Sneasler for a turn, or if you think the Protects are coming, you can just get Incineroar back off the field, get Sneasler back in instead, and oh man, the Poison Jab.
It's so risky. The Poison Jab does come out from the Sneasler, super effective into that Floette, but there's actually not going to be a poison that comes through for this Floette. Aurora Veil set up by the Frostlass is going to help out versus these incoming attacks as Floette tries to get a Calm Mind boost to override some of that special defense from Aurora Veil.
For Geo's side, it's pretty easy. You know a fake out's coming to Sneasler, so you're able to make this pivot. You know that you can get the Blizzard if you want it. It's how do you respond from Geo Team's side.
I think the Intimidate makes a lot of sense, though, because that's going to be a nice attack drop onto the Sneasler. But we're seeing the rotation. So Teo Team's Incineroar comes in, gets the Intimidate onto the opposing Incineroar, and that is just a full rotation of Pokemon here. Floette protects itself, its nose, it's under threat by this Blizzard. The Blizzard comes back out into the Incineroar.
Yeah, Teo Team is way more interested in threatening fake out and trying to create a position with a really safe fake out than he is in immediately landing one. That's going to disrupt plans even further. You have Aurora Veil on the other side. You have the speed advantage for the Frostlass on the other side. It's going to be a double protect because the threat is so big.
Blizzard comes out, it's just going to barely miss the knockout onto the Floette. So maybe you're kicking yourself, hoping that you would have been able to get an attack off with this Floette before it goes down. But Incineroar is able to use the Flare Blitz to thaw itself out and deal some major damage to the Frostlass on the other side. But this Incineroar for Geo still gets a chance to move. And it's going to be a Flare Blitz in return to get the final blow onto that Floette.
The freeze forces Incineroar to play selfishly for one turn, and one turn of selfishness is all it takes for Floette to go down. Stuck by itself, the Flare Blitz and the Blizzard is more than enough damage, and that is not what you need to accomplish with your Mega with this type of archetype. How to KO now. Geo has to make the right moves to close it out now that he's established such a big lead.
Well, Basket Legion with that Ghost typing would be immune to incoming close combat, but the Sneasler picks Dire Claw instead. Still a small chance to roll for status condition, but one is not afforded to the Sneasler. Frostlass unleashes another Blizzard with a critical hit on the Sneasler. It feels like it's just adding insult to injury at this point, but just how far ahead Geo is. The Throat Chop isn't even going to pick up the KO onto the Frostlass.
Yeah, Teo Team knows his resources left at this point are so minimal.
Get a secondary KO onto that Incineroar. But for now, we're going to see the Incineroar disappear into its Pokeball as Sinistra comes out with a little bit of hospitality healing over to Sneasler. Sneasler is actually going to use Dire Claw first, outspeeding the Frostlass and going to get the knockout.
Geo opts not to try to preserve that Frostlass, just lets it take a hit because he knows if it takes a hit, that means that Basket Legion is going to get to swing for free, but not into the Incineroar. So pretty strong turn for Teo Team there to respond and get a little bit back in this game. Keep up with these three Pokemon, keep the pivots going. There's still a chance, even now, both players down the Mega. there are counters to that. You can try to rotate the Incineroar out, but you can't get away with it forever. So Sneasler is actually the one going into Incineroar. Let's see if it is enough to keep the Sinistcha alive.
Fake out first, and then we get to see the Last Respects come out. Sinistcha's already taken some damage, and so Last Respects looks like it was an easy knockout to pick up for that Basket Legion. Down to just 2 Pokemon left. Can Teal Team claw his way back into this one with the Sneasler and the Incineroar? And no, actually, it's going to be the answer.
The Delphox makes all the sense in the world.
I think I would like to see Delphox or King Gambit as an adjustment in this game, especially when you see these 2 Ghost-type Pokemon for Geo with the Frostlass and the Basket Legion.
We recover from this position. It's going to start with Sneasler going out into the back, but where does it go next? King Gambit, though, so not the full support package. Another attacker hits the field.
Okay, well, that was an adjustment that I would have liked to see and is a very good response to something like the Frostlass and the Basket Legion. However, they can still pack a punch into this King Gambit. As we see the Delphox Mega Evolve first, we can assume that it's going to be faster than the Frostlass in this matchup. But then what comes next? This King Gambit can't protect itself on this turn, so it could be taking 2 attacks right here and now. Delphox is going to protect itself, so at the very least, it's not taking any damage on this turn. But what has Geo decided to do? Aurora Veil for safety, going to make those defenses stronger on his side of the field. But this Basket Legion can still fire off an attack. It is into that Delphox's protect, though.
What players are thinking about the damage trade. If Delphox were to get traded for Frostlass, would either player be more unhappy with that? It looks like Tier Team is the one more worried about it, going to get the Delphox out into the back.
Yeah, I mean, because Shadow Ball is also going to do a pretty good number to this Delphox. So it ends up going into that Sneasler instead as Wave Crash splits the difference and splits the damage as King Gambit is going to be on the receiving end of that one. King Gambit gets away with a Swords Dance, though, so these sucker punches might be just one-hit knockouts into either of these Pokemon.
And so this, the Coldberry Berry can help with that, and for now the Sinistcha going to try to keep King Gambit healthy so that if you miss that KO, you don't immediately go down to the Wave Crash.
Now it is really all about protecting this King Gambit. A one-hit knockout rewarded to this Pokemon onto the Frostlass. But can it hang on through another attack from this Basket Legion? Because that was not the target this time, and the Hospitality Healing ensures that King Gambit gets another shot at a KO next turn.
Probably end up trading back.
But you do have Sneasler to offer Fake Out for at least 1 turn.
So the Teo team knows you could just take advantage of it, and so may not actually be willing to just click the Protect. For now, though, Sneasler out into the back, Incineroar back on the field.
The 5D chest as the Incineroar is going to come in and give up a Defiant boost to this King Gambit. That's going to put it at +3 attack, but it's going to be a double Protect. Wow, did you just get away with that?
Oh, man. For Tier Team, you have to be kicking yourself. You spent the entirety of Game 1 trying to accomplish exactly this play. Go on to Sinistcha in this position, most likely.
Oh, King Gambit tries to go for the double protect, but it is going to fail. And so on the receiving end of that Fake Out to stop it for this turn. The Basket Legion gets to go next. Last Respects finishes off this King Gambit and gets rid of that +3 threat for the second game. A huge source of damage removed from the field for Tier Team, and so has to rely on this Sinistcha to maybe get a burn or get a job done. Basket Legion, though, happy to go down for its efforts. It did what it needed to do.
Maybe only because of the critical hit through the Aurora Veil, but does get the KO there and make the trade. I think a really smart input there from Geo. You want to cover for the Rage Powder, of course.
Geo would have liked to actually have this Basket Legion for this Delphox. I realize it's been a long time, but this Delphox has very little damage on it.
At future close combat into the Incineroar on that side, but you have to get there first.
Double Protect just to ensure that you are going to be able to get through both of these Pokemon with the Fake Outs, but you still have to worry about the damage that's going to be coming in on the next turn. Geo, very comfortable to try to throw out a Throat Chop and a Fake Out into that Delphox.
Try to keep your own Sneasler around to be a threat back to that Sneasler, so you can't afford to take a Side Shock here, and so it protecting itself now. While Rage Powder covers the Incineroar tries to go after the Delphox.
Throat Chop or Flare Blitz, though, is going to do a lot as the Sneasler protects itself from the Side Shock. Of course, that's going to be a lot of super effective damage back in return, but the Throat Chop looks like it might actually miss out on that 2-hit KO.
After the Throat Chop is the only way to pressure hit.
Double protect here was a good effort, but it's not going to happen. Sneasler cannot protect itself from a second Psy Shock from the Delphox. And so Delphox gets what it wants, bringing the Sneasler down to its Focus Sash, but there's still one more attempt for the Sneasler to get something done. The Rage Powder going to redirect away the attack from this Incineroar as it goes for another Throat Chop, and yes, misses out on the knockout.
Just not at quite enough damage. Of course, the Akaberry preventing Flare Blitz there, and so instead forcing Throat Chop that keeps Sinistcha around.
So Sneasler goes for the Protect on this turn, does not want to end up taking that risk, as the Sinistcha can go for its final Protect the Delphox with that Rage Powder to draw away the Incineroar. But Delphox knows it's got one job, to knock out this Sneasler. Throat Chop from the Incineroar finally finishes off the Sinistcha and brings back out this Sneasler.
As telegraphed as that Protect is, Team Team knows he's got a big lead in this game. All you have to do is make sure the Sneasler goes down. You can't afford a free turn where it doesn't Protect and you didn't actually pick up the KO on it, so you just keep targeting there.
Off the Delphox. So we're going to see the towel thrown in.
There's no Akaberry on that King Gambit, so will Geo make the adjustment? Will Tier Team be preemptive for that adjustment and go back to Floette? This is really going to be the crucial thing. It is Dragonite.
Okay, so then is there a Floette on the other side? There is! A Floette and Sneasler to catch that Dragonite adjustment.
Dire Claw to break that multi-scale so that Floette can get that damage, but for now, Dragonite just running out into the back. Geo trying to catch a double protect once again, get his own fake out on the field.
Incineroar would be able to pressure that on the next turn, but first we're going to see the Mega Evolution from the Floette, get that Fairy Ware activated, so those Fairy type attacks are going to be even more powerful. But what happens next? Is there a fake out from either of these Sneaslers? Geos moves first, gets the fake out into the opposing Floette, as Sneasler goes for Cold Combat into the option on the other side. Sneasler doesn't take too much from that, but you do end up actually dropping your defenses here.
Dropping the defenses, but I'm not sure you're that worried about it. You break the Focus Ash on the other side. Sneasler is enemy number one.
Against each other. We don't have the knowledge yet because there was only a fake out at increased priority from Geo Sneasler, and then we saw a close combat at neutral priority from Teal Team. Floette's going to protect itself, knows that it could be on the receiving end of a fake out from that Incineroar, and the Sneasler also, of course, threatening that Poison Jab. Not going to land its target now, but you actually uses this opportunity to get a parting shot, attack drop onto the opposing Incineroar and get a pivot out.
The restraint on the turn 1 protect pays off when you can go for the turn 2 protect. Keep Floette safe from Poison Jab on that turn, have really negative long-term effects. Yes, Floette has to get off the field, does not like the position, needs to be preserved to fight Dragonite in the long run. So instead, it's going to be Sinistcha coming in on that side.
I mean, the Poison Jab's still going to hurt quite a bit, though, even if it is going to be a neutral. No poison activated, though, as that secondary effect, as the Wave Crash just one-hit knockout into this Incineroar. Going to be a lot of recoil back into that Basket Legion, but you got rid of a really big threat.
Such a huge threat. To be able to get rid of that Incineroar, get rid of the threat of Intimidate. The Sinistcha wanted to be on both sides. It wanted to be able to come in and take that Poison Jab and the Wave Crash, but couldn't Rage Powder before it hit the field. It leaves Incineroar hanging. Can you call a protect or a switch in the right spot and land a big Moonblast? This is a key turn.
Incineroar is a good defensive switch, though, because it's going to take a lot less or something like a Moonblast as the Sinistcha redirects away the attention from the Floette, giving it some breathing room across the way from this Basket Legion. Floette's first to move next, as the Moonblast is going to actually pick off this Basket Legion. So there's no additional damage on this turn. What a critical Pokemon knockout to take.
Yeah, gets the position and then does capitalize on it. Finds the Basket Legion not switching, not protecting, staying on the field and trying to swing out, but it fails either.
You could also go for Tailwind. That is an option available to this Dragonite that would give you a almost sure speed advantage versus the Pokemon on Teal Team's side. But how much do you value that versus just going for damage now? The fake out from the Incineroar is going to land onto its target of the Floette. So that's going to be a turn for this Dragonite to get that Tailwind off. Just ensures that speed for future turns. Sinistcha can still go for an attack though, and it's going to use that Matcha Gotcha to connect to the Dragonite, break the multi-scale. Now that Floette for sure can get the knockout.
Yeah, such an important 4 HP of damage there and gets it pretty cheaply. The Tailwind is helpful, but it doesn't change all that many speed relationships whatever Floette does on this turn. But if the Sinistra protects itself, you can't. And is there enough damage to actually threaten back into the Floette? Heat Wave's not going to do much there.
No, Heat Wave does get the ability to first spread damage, and so you get the connection onto Floette. Actually, bring it down to less than half. But the Flare Blitz would have loved to land its mark into the Sinistra, and it's not going to do that. Preserve that Aqua Berry for later as the Moonblast just easy one-hit knockout into this Dragonite since that multi-scale is gone, bringing Geo down to his final 2 Pokemon of the game. That Sneasler has to come back in and deal with a Rage Powder.
Immediately has the problem of Rage Powder, but does at least have Fake Out. You don't worry about giving up a Matcha Gotcha now, not that important. Just to win. If 2 with full attacks get through into the Floette, into the Sinistra, and it still sticks on the field.
I mean, it's a safe protect here from the Floette, so can the Sinistra actually survive a double up? The Poison Touch does activate to get that poison onto the Sinistra, maybe knocks it out at the end of the turn, as the Incineroar was hoping to follow up with damage to split the difference, but Sinistra gets away scot-free. The Aqua Berry has not been consumed. It gets the Trick Room up, and speed advantage goes over to Teo Team. 1 Pokemon advantage, though, for Teo Team. Feels like it's still going to give him the edge in this final couple of turns. But as you see the protect onto Geo's Sneasler, this Floette is not going to be able to actually get the KO onto that big, important Pokemon. So the Throat Chop, with that additional Poison Chip, is it going to be enough to pick up the Sinistra, bring Teo Team down to his final 2 Pokemon?
And then the Tailwind expires, and so now Incineroar is going to be the Pokemon moving first. There's no Intimidate on it. It's probably just threatening a KO with Flare Blitz into Floette. Floette already taken half of its health down. Flare Blitz, but there's still risk there. If that double protect comes through, it switches everything, but no double protect.
None. So that's going to be a Fake Out going the Incineroar's way, knowing there's no attack coming out from the Sneasler, means that this Floette is free and clear to unleash a Moonblast to finish off this Pokemon. 1 Pokemon left here for Geo. The Incineroar should be able to get knocked out by a double up, and Teo Team 1 Pokemon away from defeating the 2025 World Champion.
This combat by itself is going to clean this up, especially after all this Flare Blitz recoil.
Yeah, gonna try anyway. It breaks the Focus Sash on the Sneasler, but this double up should do it. Moonblast, close combat. Actually, Moonblast is just enough by itself. And so, Teo Team Masa wins Swiss Round 2 of NAIC Phase 1.
What a fun set. Such difficult positioning. Ultimately, it felt like a lot of the games were decided by those team preview matchups. In game 1, it was a really uphill battle for the Floette to beat the Froslass on the other side. When Froslass and Sneasler were led next to each other, Floette was in a world of hurt.